Tom Haverford, Aziz Ansari.
Yes.
You know him from
Parks and Rec.
Master of None.
Master of None, yeah.
Parks and Rec. Netflix did not give him the axe when, he was accused of sexual misconduct by that woman that he was dating or that he had gone out on a date with.
It's so funny because when you watch Masters of None, there's a scene that takes place in the show that sounds very similar to what this girl proclaimed happened, where he's just way handsy and all over and
forceful.
It doesn't go.
It's funny when I watched that Master of None, I kind of got this weird feeling about like people that I dated in the past, and like, was I trying to be manipulative? He's kind of addressing this in his new stand-up special that he's got. It's called Right Now.
Were you creepy? Were you forceful?
I don't think I was forceful, but I think male nature is to,
get that bra off.
Yeah. So, by today's standards.
And I think it's fine until they say, knock it off. Right. No. And then you don't, obviously you don't. And then that's where you cross the line.
I can comfortably say that there will never be a time that I made anybody super uncomfortable, because if it was super uncomfortable to them, it was going to be super uncomfortable to me. I didn't want to be in that situation. I would hope that more people would be like that. But I think also there were times when, I had expectations for where the evening was going, and the female did not have the same expectations, and we weren't on the same page. And, this is the benefit that you have to marrying the first girl that would sleep with you.
Right.
Is you don't have to deal with any of this uncomfortableness.
For people that don't remember, there was a girl that had bring accusations against him. It wasn't rape, though, was it?
She was a blogger. She just had a blog, and she wrote about going out on a date with Aziz Ansari and how she felt he was trying to use his fame to force her into having sex.
Yeah, okay.
Did
they end up having sex? Do you remember?
No. Okay. Yes, they did. Yes, they did. And she felt bad about it.
That's right.
She felt like she was forced into the decision because of who he was, and all those things.
Now, as far as I know, there was no legal action brought on.
She didn't press charges. She didn't press charges.
But she just brought it up, and she wanted people to know.
Yeah, if you're in a situation and people are a little forceful, and like you said at the very end of Master of None, it's kind of the same situation. It's almost like that. What played out in her blog played out on Master of None, which was very strange, because we heard Master of None first. We saw that story, and then 6 months later, this story comes out. Here he is addressing the crowd before he starts his stand-up piece.
I haven't said much about that whole thing, and it's a tricky thing for me to answer, because I felt so many things in the last year or so. There's times I felt scared. There's times I felt humiliated. There's times I felt embarrassed. And ultimately, I just felt terrible that this person felt this way. And after a year or so, I just hope it was a step forward. It moved things forward for me. It made me think about a lot. I hope I become a better person.
He also continued on and says that he hopes that something positive could come out of it.
And I always think about a conversation I had with one of my friends where he was like, you know what, man? That whole thing made me think about every date I've ever been on. And I thought, wow, well, that's pretty incredible. If it's made not just me, but other people be more thoughtful, then that's a good thing. And that's how I feel about it. And I know this isn't the most hilarious way to begin a comedy show. But it's important to me that you know how I feel about that whole thing before we share this night together.
Why did it take so long?
Well, it's been a year.
I just feel like I understand, but why did it? Why? I mean, just come out and say that in the beginning.
But you have to let those thoughts process.
That's true. No, and I understand what he's saying, because when we talked about that, I even thought about like any girl that I'd ever been with, the one. And I thought, did I ever push it too far at one point in time? But I think a lot, you said you thought that. You felt that way.
Yes, I totally get what his friend is saying. I literally went back and thought about every girl that I've ever dated or ever pursued or ever tried to date, or went on a date with, one date.
So it was a good thing this blogger, this girl, we don't know her name, or I don't know her name, but that she came out and said something, because it had a lot of people thinking.
I remember I went to the drive-in movie theater in Auburn, Washington. The Valley 8. Valley 8? Was it Valley 8?
Valley 8.
Or Valley 6, that Valley 8, whatever. Went to the Valley 8. And I remember I asked Melissa, I said, Melissa, you want to go to see the new Sharon Stone movie with one of the Baldwin brothers? I think it was called Sliver. Do you remember that movie?
Oh, yes.
And I was thinking, Sharon Stone.
That was a hot movie.
You're putting out that vibe that, I'm going to see a Sharon Stone movie. So, there's a possibility. And I remember I kept trying to put my arm around Melissa's shoulder and move my hand down. I kept moving my hand down, and she kept pushing it off. And it made me think about that time. I think I was 18, 17, 18.
Wait, was she pushing your arm off of her shoulder altogether, or just when you would try to reach down?
She would take my hand and move it off to the side. So she wanted my arm around her, but she didn't want my hand.
She didn't want it. Yeah, you were going to earn it
on her chest.
Yeah, you were just going to take that. You were going to have.
She was cool with me using her as an armrest, but not as a plaything for my hands, I guess, if you will. And I remember, after trying that a couple times, being like, "Oh,
how did this night end?"
Which was super awkward. Super awkward for the rest of the movie, because, I don't know. I've never had much game, but I would say hour and 15 minutes into the movie was when I probably made my first move, I would think, if I was to guesstimate it.
Right.
And I look back on it, and, I tried it a few more times, and then afterwards I was like, oh, okay,
so your game was just to go right in for the booth.
Well, once
I
couldn't get to first base, though. Once I went
over, going to make out first.
Once I went 0 for 4. Once I went 0 for 4 on the evening, I didn't go up there and try to. I asked for a pinch hitter. I was like, okay, I'm out.
Had you even kissed the girl yet?
No.
You just went right in.
No.
You just you were stealing second.
I figured the kiss would come. Wait, did we kiss? Wait, hold on. We did kiss. That's right. We kissed, which made me think.
Before or after the movie?
Before.
Oh,
that
okay.
took place.
So you had the go ahead sign.
Yeah. So I thought the kiss meant.
Yeah. Okay.
All systems go.
Let's push.
But that's not how it was in her mind.
Right.
And
you can't do that anymore.
And I was like, well, maybe the first time she pushed my hand away, that was an accident. Maybe she was brushing at a fly or something.
So after she pushes your hand away, then what do? Just stand there or sit there like...
Well, we're in a car, so, we just sit there, watch the movie, take in the Sharon Stone movie, and then call it a night.
That was it? You didn't try to kiss her again?
No. Which makes me look like a jerk, right?
I didn't say it.
Jeff and Jeremy in the morning. Don't miss a moment. Subscribe to the podcast on Google, Apple, YouTube, and Podbean by clicking on Jeff and Jeremy at KZOZ.com.